I traveled to Tokyo right after I graduated from architecture school. I was a new architect and I was very excited to explore a new city, a new type of architecture, and a new urban design strategies. While I was there, I was surprised to see how Tokyo, one of the most dense cities in the world, actually has a vast majority that is low-rise buildings, in a way similar to Toronto. So after living here for 8 years, I had the opportunity to reflect back on Tokyo's urban planning system and see what could be used here in Toronto, perhaps. So I would like to share the 3 top things I wish Toronto could adopt from Tokyo's urban planning system. Number 1, flexible zoning. Tokyo, Yokohama is the largest urban area in the world with population of 38 million people and a density of 2642 people per square kilometer. In comparison, the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, has a population of 6.5 million and 849 people per kilometer. There are many reasons why Tokyo is much denser than Toronto, but perhaps one of them is the flexible zoning system that Tokyo has that doesn't have as much bureaucracy as we have here in Toronto. First of all, the zoning is set by the national government and implemented by the municipalities, unlike here in North America when the zoning is set by the municipality. So the national government outlined 12 zones, ranging from low-rise residential to industrial. The zones are transparent and flexible, and even the most rigid zoning category allows for low-rise residential to have a home-based business or a small retail component. Floor area ratio, or FAR, is the ratio between a building area and the lot size, is still being used as a tool or limits the density, but it doesn't dictate the shape or the build form of what could be built. So it means that in low-rise residential zones, even duplexes, triplexes, low-rise apartment buildings are allowed as long as they meet the FAR requirements. Another interesting fact in the zoning is that the less sensitive a zone is, the wider range of uses it allows. So for instance, the most restrictive zone allows for houses, schools, and houses with home-based business. The next less restrictive zone allows for all of that plus small stores or restaurants. The next category that is less restrictive allows for all of that plus universities, hospitals, and much larger commercial areas. So there are some exceptions when it comes to industrial zones, but this pattern continues. And the less restrictive a zone is, it allows for a wider range of uses. Toronto zoning couldn't be more different. We have 25 core categories. Each of them has exceptions or fine-tuned details that you need to follow, making innovation or creativity much harder to act within that rigid system. So more flexibility on the zoning could definitely mean a step forward for affordability and for more housing typologies generally. Number 2, utilization of small-sized lots. Let's take a look at Tokyo's creative approach on building taller on small parcels of land, which was also one of the most remarkable memories I have from this trip. Because in Toronto, too often, small and awkward shaped lots mean they will be left empty because our conventional design couldn't fit. And height restrictions coming from the policy will make it much harder to ever be built because it doesn't make any sense. And it's not just the policy and zoning to be blamed. The building code, especially the one that we use here in Ontario, is known to be one of the most rigid and restrictive building code, leaving many talented architects with their hands tied behind their back, doing anything but the conventional design. Number 3, mixed-use hubs in transit stations. First of all, Japanese railways are completely privatized. So the lack of funding from the government plus the high cost of construction result in truly mixed-use communities or hubs in every transit station. Because the integration of residential, office, retail, entertainment, dining, shopping, all in proximity to transit, allow the companies to be more profitable. Here in Toronto, we rarely see this true mixed-use hub near every transit station, especially on the GO network, but there's hope. Toronto is definitely heading in the right direction, and we see that in the East Harbour Master Plan, for example. Having said all that, it's really important to acknowledge that the Tokyo's model works so well because less than 30% of Tokyo residents are depending on their car daily, while here in Toronto is the exact opposite, when 70% of Torontonians are using their car daily. So if we want to get the most out of transit-oriented communities, we probably have some long way to go to make sure that it all works together. That's it for the 3 things I wish Toronto would adopt from Tokyo's urban planning system. Thanks for watching.